guys, welcome back to my marvelous miniverse. Finally got some crafting videos together. My daughter called me up the other day and wanted to do some simple dungeon scatter for the game that she DMs. So the first project we worked on was this video. It's going to be some simple little pillars, just quick and easy. They look okay. They're not the greatest, but they worked good enough in the game to give some 3D depth to it and, really just enhance that experience. They were pretty good. If you got any little tips or tricks to make things a little better, please leave them in the comments, or questions, remarks, advice, whatever. And as usual with my videos, this is just a tutorial, not a tutorial. I don't really know what I'm doing, so this is just how I did what I did. And let's get after it.
So I brought out my cheap little wire cutter that I got at Hobby Lobby, and I made this little fence for it. Just cobbled it together. I'm setting it at 1 inch because I'm going to use this here 1 inch foam, and I want them to be square, so 1 inch square pillars. Just zip them out. That piece of foam is about 8 inches thick, so we're going to cut them in half, so they're going to be about 4 inches tall, which really created a lot of depth in the in the scene that we're playing in. I like this wire cutter because it really makes the cuts nice and perpendicular, keeps it nice and square. Sometimes it can get off a little bit if you're using a razor knife. This is my daughter Sydney. She's marking them out to 4 inches. We needed a total of 12 of them, so just mark them down. And chopped them in half. Pretty simple.
Right after we got all those done, we went to roughen them up. Just trim down the top. Make it look a little more like broken stone. We got the aluminum foil out and roughed them up, gave them a bunch of texture.
I like to add a little more texture by pushing that wire brush down, making some holes. I think it looks pretty good in old stone. And then I got out this 1/2 inch foam to make the bases, and this one was already marked out at 1.25 inches. I wanted them a little wider at the bottom. So I just mark it 1.25 inches this way and make a little grid pattern. And we're only making 12 pillars, so I really only needed 12 squares. But, it's always nice to have extra in case you mess one up. Just cut them out. Not too complicated. And I took our pillars, drew around so that I know where they'd be sitting. And then I beveled those down. It didn't work out as well as I had hoped because I wanted to give it a little bit of an angle on it, but It worked okay. It wasn't quite even. But I guess for some old, dilapidated, slightly crumbling stone columns deep down in a dungeon, I guess it's okay. Could be better. So I went ahead and textured those after I trimmed them up. Another downside to trimming is those little pieces stick to everything. And tore some chunks out, make them look even older. We did that to the columns too. I don't think I showed any of that. And I just used some hot sticky on there. Stick them together. And finally, for the texturing, I just went through and just made some cracks with a pen. When I do my cracks, I try to follow some of the texturing that's left from the aluminum foil. I think it works out a little better that way. I think it looks a little better. Then I just use this black paint and Mod Podge mix from Black Magic Craft. It works really well. Alright, once that was all dry, they were a little top heavy, so I just got this little cheap wire engraver, foam engraver, or whatever it is. I got a little kit for like 20 bucks on Amazon. It had this and like a handheld wire cutter and stuff. But I like to use this for making little divots when I put pennies in there. If you use a knife to do those divots, man, you get little pieces all over the place. Sticking to everything, don't want to go in the trash. I just made that little recess big enough for a penny, and then a little more hot sticky in there. Boop. That's it, that little penny gives it enough weight to where it wants to stand up and not fall over. And I did a little research, and there's little washers that size. I think I could get them for like 7 cents a piece. So, you know, pennies won that battle, because that's 1 cent. Alright, and then we're on to painting. Just use this light gray acrylic craft paint. Really wanted to work it into the brush, but not have a whole lot on there, because I just wanted to overbrush it. I think this looks a little better than painting it all gray and then washing it. That's just my opinion. And it's a little faster. Saves you that wash step in the end. There we go. After those are dry, I just want to do some highlights in white. And this is how I do my dry brushing. I get the makeup brush and I just put the white right on the paper towel and just work that in to all the little bristles. I like the makeup brush because it does a wide area. The bristles are nice and soft, but there's one downside to it. Sometimes when you turn it, you'll get a big glob of paint like that. But that's okay. You just power through. It'll blend in. There's 12 different pillars, so one of them's not perfect. You can use that one last, I guess. I don't know. And the very last step is to play with them a little bit. So our adventurers cross the bridge into this hallway with the large pillars. And what they can't see is the little lizard folk rogues hiding in the shadows behind them. I like those tall pillars. They really put a sense of perspective of size.
Alright, so there's my quick and easy dungeon pillars. I think they look pretty good. You guys let me know what you think down in the comments, or you can head over to my Facebook page. I'm going to call that a successful craft. And so that means I think I've earned myself a successful craft beer. This is Little Helper from Mother's Brewing Company down in Springfield, Missouri. It's an IPA, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but these are pretty good. So if you like what you saw, please give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell button. And if you decide to make some of your own, please go over to my Facebook page and post that up. I would very much like to see them. So until then, just power through.